Welcome to today's edition of the Rush 24/7 podcast.
And greetings to you once again. And listen, welcome to the most listened to radio talk show in America. The Rush Limbaugh program on the EIB network. 800-282-2882 if you want to be on the program. And if you want to send an email, lrushbo@eibnet.us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting nervous. I am already getting nervous. Now, I know it's early. I'm not getting nervous because of anything I've heard President-elect Trump say. I'm getting nervous because of things I'm hearing other people say, things totally unnecessary. And I want to take some time today to try to explain why I'm nervous and destroy some myths that seem to always pop up after elections about unity and crossing the aisle and working together and almost apologizing for winning. I'm sick of it. I'm fed up with it. I have watched it happen for now 29 years, and I'm not going to sit here and stand or sit mute while it happens again. We have been governed against our will for the last 8 years. The Democrat Party, now nobody saw this, folks. Nobody, because everybody was so focused on two people, Hillary and Donald Trump. Nobody, I mean nobody, until after it was over, had any idea what had really happened. We should have known it because we've been chronicling it. I'm talking about the demise of the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party, since 2010, the midterm elections in 2010, they lost 900 seats in that election. In the House, in the Senate, go to governorships, mayors, town council, if you go all over the country, they got shellacked. We now know that if Donald Trump had run for president in 2012, using the exact data he got versus what Obama got in 2012, Donald Trump would have beaten Obama in 2012. If you take the data from this election and measure it against what Obama had, Hillary Clinton got 6 million fewer votes than Barack Obama in 2012. In 2014, the next set of midterms, the Democrats lost another 700 seats. The Democrat Party has been decimated. They have no bench. They don't have anybody bringing up the rear in case Hillary lost. They have literally been shellacked. We have been governed by a minority against our will, and the illusion has been that they are the majority and gaining the majority and growing the majority. The illusion has been that we are the ones dwindling away to nothing, and it's been the exact opposite. The pollsters they didn't miss anything. They didn't get anything wrong. They just didn't tell us the truth about what they were seeing in these polls. You go back and look at it now. The data was there. They, exactly as I asked on the day of the election, if we're not going to believe them all of these months when they report the news, why believe the polls that they produce? They didn't miss anything. What they're doing by saying, man, how did we miss it? Oh, my God, we've got to go back and examine. They didn't miss it. They didn't tell the truth. They weren't honest about what they were finding. They weren't honest about trying to find what was actually going on. The idea they don't know who Trump voters are, BS. They know exactly who the Trump voter is. They ignored them. They impugned them. They know exactly where the Trump support was coming from, and they chose to ignore it. They chose to report that it didn't exist. They chose to report that it wasn't relevant. So now we have all these riots going on. Exactly as I predicted. And folks, aside from these little snowflakes that are melting on campus today, the kids, all of these riots that you're seeing in New York and Philadelphia and Chicago and Los Angeles are bought and paid for. They are not real. in terms of springing up genuinely and organically. They're bought and paid for, and we know this from the WikiLeaks email dumps from John Podesta, and we know it from Project Veritas videos. We know that all of the protests at Trump rallies were bought and paid for, primarily by George Soros, but by the Democrat Party. We are still being treated by the media to a picture of America that isn't true. They want you to believe that a majority of Americans is fit to be tied and angry over the election of Donald Trump, and as such, we can never unify unless Trump caves on everything in order to get peace. That's what they're trying to make everybody think, and that's what's making me nervous. When I hear so many on our side talk about now the need to cross the aisle and the need to unify, the time to unify is after we have forced them into surrender, just like we did the Japanese in World War II. But the days of unifying with the losers because they're mad and we don't want the media saying mean things about us, they lost. And folks, they have been losing since 2010. Obama would not have won his 2 elections were it not for his race. I am convinced that his approval numbers, people say, Rush, how can you say what you're saying? Obama's got 53% approval. No, he doesn't. His policies were unilaterally rejected in this election, folks. The presidency of Barack Obama was sent packing. That is exactly what was on the ballot, and we have his own words, if you recall. Part of his campaign, his ego couldn't help it. He's out there campaigning. My legacy is on the ballot. My issues are on the ballot. Hillary Clinton represents a continuation of everything and all the progress we made. What happened? A total repudiation. That 53% approval rating is because of his race and for other surface-oriented factors, but not substance. And they use that 53%, and I'm not even sure I believe that number. That number doesn't make sense with the election results. The Democrat Party and the agenda of Barack Obama were entirely, totally repudiated in this election, as was the Democrat Party. It was a bloodbath. That is how bad it was. And what people are now learning, they didn't know just how bad it was on the Democrat side. All of our never-Trumpers and all of our wishy-washy rhinos are so self-absorbed with what's wrong in their own party and who's traitorous in their own movement that they were not paying attention to the real enemy, in a political sense, of course, and that's the Democrats and the left. And once you look at what has happened to them, 2010, 2014, and Tuesday of this week, they have been sent packing. Their policies, the substance of what they tried to do, the substance of what they say they believe, things like Obamacare, the stimulus, various economic policies, it has all been repudiated. And not because of personality. It's because of substance. 6 million fewer Democrats showed up to vote for a person who thought she was going to be coronated. So loved and adored, we were told she was by the Democrat Party. She had to steal her own nomination from Bernie Sanders. Folks, we are lied to every day by the Democrat Party, which is the media. We are lied to about how we are viewed in the country. We are lied to about how they are viewed. We are lied to about how the country loves their policies and loves them. We are lied to each and every day, and it is the daily soap opera that I have warned about and talked about that the media gets together and scripts, the daily narrative. Look at Colin Kaepernick. Did you see what Colin Kaepernick do on Election Day? He didn't vote. Here's a guy who may be one of the primary reasons the audience levels of the NFL are plummeting to the cellar. Here's a guy who claims he's doing it because of social justice, that he can't stand to sit in a country and be in a country where minorities are so poorly treated, and on the one day where he really has something to say and do, but he sits on his butt and doesn't go vote. As far as I'm concerned, Colin Kaepernick is a non-person and doesn't deserve 1 second more of media coverage, which raises a question. Why did he get any media coverage in the first place? What was it? Colin Kaepernick used to be a great quarterback, and now he has fallen to basically, he's a bad quarterback. There's nothing worth watching when Colin Kaepernick takes the field, unless you like car wrecks. Yet look at all the attention that the media gave him. Why did they give him so much attention? What was he doing, really, when you get down to brass tacks? What was he doing? He was ripping America. And that's what they liked. And that's what they wanted to promote. And the American people have had their fill of this. The American people love their country and are sick and tired of people who hate it being celebrated and elevated and made celebrities and getting rich. They are sick and tired of it, and we have the election results to show for it on Tuesday. And we also have the plummeting fortunes of the Democrat Party to back it up. The Democrat Party happens to be the receptacle for anti-Americanism in America today. That's if you don't like America and if you've got problems with America, that's where you go. You go to the Democrat Party. It is undeniable. Now, I warned everybody about this rioting. I warned about it constantly. I want you to hear. Because, folks, it isn't real. I am begging you to ignore it. Do not let it affect you. Do not let it convince you that it wasn't worth winning. Do not let it make you think that winning is not going to amount to anything because look at how many Americans are unhappy. Oh, my gosh, why can't they join? It is being bought and paid for. Organized leftist protests the day after the election in 7 cities. It's not organic like Occupy Wall Street wasn't organic. If it was, where is it now? Where is Occupy Wall Street? It served its purpose. It's gone away. No, it hasn't. This is Occupy Wall Street. This is Black Lives Matter. It's all the same people. It's all the same money. It's all the same thinking. And Project Veritas videos exposed how the Democrat Party buys, pays for, and orchestrates this stuff. Here is me all the way back on June 30th. On this program, and Politico was outraged by what I said here, and they wrote a story on July 1st expressing how they were outraged, how anybody could dare say what I said, given the campaign as it was. And this is it. This is what I said, and you probably heard it June 30th of this year. I want you to fast forward to November to Trump winning the presidency in November, and I want you to think, using your intelligence guided by experience, what's going to happen that night? What's going to happen the next day? What's going to happen every day thereafter? What's going to happen the day Trump gets inaugurated? What is the left going to do? They're not going to just sit idly by and accept this and say, good fight, we gave it everything we had, but we lost. They're going to do everything they can to undermine it. And I think we're going to see levels of violence that we have not seen. I think people are going to be shocked at the degree to which the left intends to intimidate people into reversing that result. I think they're going to do everything they can to see it to it that Trump never does get inaugurated. Whatever, it's going to be unlike anything. And the point here is that the election, if we win it, is just a small step forward. It's going to take fortitude. It's going to take guts. It's going to take steel spines. It's going to take courage to implement the victory and then to maintain the victory and then to grow upon the victory. And I'm telling you, the left is going to be out there attempting in whatever fashion they can, whether it breaks the law or not, to thwart the results of the election should Trump win. My sense is that there isn't going to be any peace. There's going to be anger. There is going to be rage. There are going to be lawsuits. Everything about the victory is going to be attacked. The Democrats will throw lawyers and who knows whatever else at that outcome, demanding recounts here, recounts, whatever, no matter how close it is, no matter if it's a landslide loss for Hillary Clinton. They just don't put up with it, and they're certainly not going to be of the mind to put up with it in November. And it's not just because it's Trump. Trump will be icing on the cake. ACLU has already announced they're going to sue Trump. Folks, There is no desire for unity by the people on the left. It's a trap. It's a sucker play. And what makes me nervous is that we have Republicans who want to fall into that trap. I don't know about Trump yet. Way too soon for that. This meeting he's got with Obama is going much, much longer than anybody thought. If it's the Trump we know, Obama's getting a ration for what he had said about Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, linking him to the KKK. We don't know. But it's going on much longer. Media perplexed. Media thought it was going to be a mere formulaic meeting, that Trump is going to go out there and say, thank you, you're a wonderful guy, Mr. Obama. It's so great to meet you. Thanks for letting me in the White House, and then move on to his meetings with Republicans. They do not want unity. The protests, the college snowflakes melting before, they do not want unity. It is a sucker trap. It's a sucker play designed to get us to essentially act like we didn't win. We've seen it before. We've seen the movie. Remember when we won the Senate? And then say, you know, it's not fair. It's not fair. We should have a majority. And so we gave them essentially an extra vote so the Senate would be 50-50. Trying to show the American people how open-minded and fair we can be. I made this prediction numerous times. Last October 21st, made the prediction again. Let's say Trump wins a narrow victory. Say he gets 285 electoral votes, or 280, 275, whatever. Do you think they're just going to sit there and accept it for the honor of the tradition of accepting election results? They've got themselves convinced because of their own polls that they're looking at a landslide of Goldwater proportions here. They think Hillary may get 500 electoral votes. If Trump, folks, there'll be rioting election night. And we will witness the dignified and accepting tradition of going with the outcome of an election, as we have come to expect. Right. So everything I predicted is coming true, except the lawsuits and recounts. That hasn't happened yet. May not. And it was easy to predict. I've got more of this, but I want to delve deeper into the actual size of this Democrat loss and deeper into my fears about this business of unity. I don't want anybody to misunderstand. I'd love it if it were possible. And it is, but not right now. Back in just a second. Don't go away. Welcome back. Great to have you, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republican Party. Let me put this in perspective for you. And this is among the things that nobody saw. And stand by for even more delightful detail on this. Republican Party is stronger in Washington than it has ever been since the 1920s. We have more power in Washington, D.C., the Republican Party, than any time since the 1920s. It is huge. The Republicans have expanded the Republicans didn't, Donald Trump did. Another key element here to keep in mind for all the never-Trumpers, for all the wishy-washy rhino Republican types. They enjoy this power because one man decided to take on the illusion of this gigantic, unbeatable left. By the way, the Wall Street Journal, get this, a few minutes ago, Obamas have canceled a photo op of the current and future first couples outside the south entrance of the White House. Now, what happened in there? There's usually a photo after this meeting. It shows everybody's getting along. Peaceful transition. Obama canceled it. And greetings and welcome back. Rush Limbaugh, having more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. Let me talk about the never-Trumpers here for just a second. I don't want to imply that I think their objections to Trump were not principled, like some of them were. I think they were just misguided. But take a look at many of the things that the conventional wisdom from the smart people, what they told us. First thing they told us, Trump's going to lose in a landslide, doesn't have a prayer, which means that we're going to lose the House, and we're going to lose the Senate. And it's just going to end up being the absolute worst thing that could happen. We had smug predictions from writers and analysts and strategists on cable TV, bloggers, all of them arrogantly assuming that there was simply no way that Donald Trump, because he's just a very coarse and uncouth individual, there's just no way that he could win. And anybody that was on his side was also excoriated for betrayal, was a sellout, not understanding what was at stake. So Trump was going to lose big and take the party down the tubes. We were going to wipe out Republican majorities. Sky was falling. Massive landslides were coming. And many of them made these predictions happily. Many of them were very, very, they seemed enthusiastic or enthused to make these predictions, because I guess they thought that there was great opportunity for them in the aftermath of this, being able to say, see, we told you, you can continue to donate to us because we are the true keepers of the flame, or what have you. Well, not only were Democrat policies, not only was the Obama administration, Democrat Party repudiated, but so were a lot of the so-called intelligentsia on the right as well. And this is going to teach the Republican Party a lesson. And it was going to learn once and for all, you can't listen to talk radio, and you can't do anything other than listen to the genuine intellectuals. They're the ones that'll guide you. Now look at what's happened. Look at what has happened. Expand control of Congress, or keep it in the case of the Senate. More governorships. The Republican Party with more power in Washington than it has had since the 1920s. All because of one election. It's amazing how nobody saw it. I didn't. I didn't see the full measure of impact. And I don't think too many people did either. That's why so much shock and surprise over what has happened. Now, I mentioned earlier that I'm getting nervous, and we've even got a guy on the phone who thinks I sound angry. Is that what he said, Mr. Sturdley? The caller thinks I sound angry? Do I sound angry in there to you guys? Tell me straight. Okay, the staff, highly paid to suck up, is telling me that they don't suck up. No, they don't hear anger, because they can see me, too. And so can you on the Ditto-Cam. They hear passion. They know when I'm mad. Folks, my point is, we've seen this movie. We've been here how many times? Go back to the 2002 midterms, where we kept the House when we were supposed to lose it. Any number of times where we've been victorious. And the left, by rote, starts demanding unity, that we get rid of our differences, that we come together. But it always ends up being us that has to do it. They never have to change a damn thing about themselves, even and especially when they lose. No, it's all up to us to compromise, to unify, to do whatever it is so they won't be angry anymore, so their protesters can get off the streets and once again enjoy life. Why is there disunity in America in the first place? Well, it's natural when you have partisan politics as the governing system of the country, and it's not going to change. And as long as you have passionate people on both sides, you're going to have partisan divides. And as long as both sides have people who are never going to compromise their principles, you're always going to have a circumstance where there is never unity. The nation's never been unified in the ways that people today are demanding it be unified anyway. It's a pipe dream. It's something that sounds really wonderful to hope for. And by the way, it sounds really wonderful to say. In the afterglow of an election, to talk about putting aside our differences and unify, it sounds wonderful, and maybe that's what Americans want to hear. I'm hoping it's just what people think they have to say right now. On our side. Look at, there's a headline to Politico today. Obamacare defenders vow total war They're not going to lay down, folks. They're not going to unify. For unity to take place, they would have to agree with us that Obamacare is a disaster and help us get rid of it and put something in its place. They're not going to do that. Why, when they just got beat, they just got shellacked when their entire agenda was repudiated, and all because Trump put this stuff out there. He was going to get rid of Obamacare. Trump won. Why in the world should we, after victory, okay, we'll leave it and we'll let you guys come in and participate in the meetings that we're going to have to save it? It's not how things would work if we lost. It is a trap. There is disunity because the left views this as constant, never-ending war. We have tried, our party, members of our party have tried to appease the Democrats and the left for as long as I have been doing this, and it never, ever works. It never makes the media less mean. It never causes Democrats to say they love us and like us more. Not that that matters, but seems that some people want that to be the case. It never changes anything. But let's look at this as it actually was, as it actually happened. And all of this, I want you to keep in mind, under the umbrella of we should now unify. Obama claimed that his legacy was on the ballot, claimed his policies and their being continued was on the ballot. His legacy. Hillary Clinton was charged with making sure the Obama legacy lived on. Obama himself put his legacy, his agenda, his entire administration on the ballot. Barack Obama campaigned saying, save my agenda, save my legacy. What happened? It was totally repudiated. It was sent packing. The people of this country told the Obama agenda to take a hike. Barack Obama, and it's certainly not politically correct to say this, Barack Obama has really damaged the Democrat Party, folks. If you look at all of the Democrat defeats starting in the 2010 midterms, then you add the number of seats they lost in 2014. We're up to about 14 to 1,600 electoral seats the Democrats have lost. It's so bad that Democrats in California want to secede from the nation. And many people are saying, let them. These are the people demanding to sue for unity? They ought to be mad. They are mad. Their anger needs to be placed where it should be, and that's on the shoulders of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, because those two people have single-handedly seen to it that the Democrat Party is its weakest since the 1920s. It's astounding what has happened. Governorships, Senate seats, House seats, mayors, city council. It's incredible the number of seats Democrats have lost. And once again, as it was in 2010 and 2014, the Republicans are beneficiaries of what has taken place here, but you might come up short in calling them actual winners, because it was Donald Trump that secured the victory on Tuesday. It was the Tea Party and the conservative movement in 2010 and 2014 in those midterm elections. The Republicans didn't actually present an agenda. They represented the opposition. They represented the alternative choice. The Democrat Party has been rejected by whoever showed up to vote. You can talk about low turnout. I don't care. But among those who showed up to vote, and Colin Kaepernick was not one of them, the Democrat Party has suffered defeat after defeat after defeat. Donald Trump has seen to this massive shift in power that nobody saw, nobody thought possible on our side. To me, Donald Trump shows what has been possible all along for the Republican Party. We could have won in 2008. In fact, we could have, this is the numbers have been run, we could have won. Trump, with the support that he got Tuesday, would have beaten Barack Obama in 2012. None of this had to happen. But too many of our people on our side thought it was unavoidable. Well, we had too much history against us. We had an African-American, the first, a guy that spoke well, was intelligent, but we didn't oppose. We were afraid to oppose for a whole host of reasons that we have been through and named, so there's no need to repeat them. The history is what's important. Had we opposed the Democrat agenda, we could have beaten it, as did happen this past Tuesday. We have not lost our country. We are the majority of the country, or very close to it. Since Obama became president, since the Democrats got on board his aggressively big government agenda, the Democrat Party has been routed across the country, in both houses of Congress, in state and local governments. When Obama's policies are on the ballot, without him, the Democrats get shellacked. When he's on the ballot with his policies, they win. So therefore, it's not his policies, it's him and whatever he means to voters. And I think it's simply that people are afraid to vote against him for fear that somebody might find out they voted against him, and for fear that what they think that will say to other people. I think it's dominated by his race. There are other factors as well. David French at National Review, one of the never-Trumpers who thought that this was the opposite of what was going to happen, who believed that we were headed for a defeat that was actually going to destroy the Republican Party. You realize how many never-Trumpers, how many mainstream Republicans really thought this election would be the end of the Republican Party and it was going to have to be reconstituted and rebuilt. And there may be some of that anyway, by the way. But Mr. French at National Review wrote that he had no idea the Democrat Party had so thoroughly alienated its own voters. Hillary Clinton will likely end up with almost 10 million fewer votes than Obama got in 2008. And it's what nobody in the drive-bys wants to talk about today, Bernie Sanders. The Democrat voter read WikiLeaks. The Democrat voter knows Hillary Clinton's rigged that game with the DNC. Remember how fit to be tied we were in 2012? We found out 4 million Republicans didn't vote for Romney for whatever reason. Try 6 million Democrats didn't vote Tuesday for Hillary. 2 words, Bernie Sanders. The Democrat Party knew. Enough people in that party knew how they had rigged the game and they were lying and they were being just as disingenuous with their own party as they were being with us. I have to take another brief time out, but we still have a long ways to go on this, and your phone calls are coming up too, so just be patient. Be right back. All right, here's the bottom line. Now that Donald Trump is around to do the heavy lifting, and now that Donald Trump's around to do the heavy lifting and had coattails, let's see how courageous Republicans in the House and Senate will be. Only time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. I think these calls for unity, they sound wonderful, but the way they've always ended up happening in the past is that we basically give away our victory for whatever peace that we believe can be had by doing so. Here is Ted in Muskegon, Michigan, who thought I sounded mad. Hey, Ted, great to have you on the program. Hi.
Well, I don't have a ditto cam, Rush, so I can't see you, but I'll tell you, I tuned in yesterday hoping and expecting this, and I tuned in today, and I'm not getting it. You are angry, you're mad. You're using words like sick, tired, protests, anger, rage, lawyers, no desire for unity. I get it. I know the midterm Republican landslide, the last 2, didn't produce any results, and most Republicans in D.C. are as fake an establishment as the Democrats. But can we not, after 10 years, hear your laughter, hear some kind of finally we're at least on the right track with Trump. Something happy, laughter, positive. Can you give us one solid day of that?
Well, that's what the show is each and every day.
Well, I'm a loyal friend and true, Rush. I listen every day. But don't think that words like sick and tired and protest and anger and rage and
sick
lawyers.
And tired. I'm telling you what the left is doing, and I'm sick and tired of it. I'm not describing me.
One day of happiness, one day of something just really fun. I am happy, Rush, and I tuned into you. I mean, I've been listening forever,
right,
since the L.A. riots. I want that. Can we not get that?
Since the L.A. riots, you're making me laugh. No wonder you want.
Finally, you're laughing. I'm glad I've served a purpose for you today, and maybe your other listeners who say, "Why isn't he happy?" Keep laughing. That's what we love, Rush.
I am, or perhaps one of the happiest guys out there.
To keep you laughing.
What's that?
I'll continue to talk about the L.A. riots just to hear you laugh again.
The juxtaposition of you wanting happiness you've been calling here, still listening since the L.A. riots. I was giddy yesterday. The program was giddy. I couldn't. In fact, I got frustrated when the program ended. I ran out of time sharing all of the good news. We blew this in 1994. Ted, we have blown this a couple of times, and as I say, I'm sounding warning bells. When there's reason to be happy, I will tell you. We have the best chance that we've had in our lifetimes, folks, because of this election, to beat back the forces of liberalism that are trying to steal liberty, trying to steal freedom, and trying to transform America. We've got the best chance we have ever had to keep them at bay for a generation. And I'm worried. I don't want to squander it. It's that simple.